If she listens very carefully to a room of conversation, she can feel the planet orbiting through space. She hears pieces of arguments, beginnings of jokes, and the outlines of a song she cannot place. And it all makes up an image that resists interpretation, which is lately how she likes to see herself. As she does not believe in accidents, doesn't disagree out loud, and falls in love with every man she cannot help. 'Cause she thinks most people don't talk enough about how lucky they are. Most people don't know what it takes for me to get through the day. Most people don't talk enough about the love in their hearts. She doesn't know most people feel that same way. If she focuses her energies on just walking through the neighborhood, with depths and shallows nobody could sound, like January Christmas lights under billion-year-old stars, she comes up with more of what is lost than what is found. So by the time that she explains to me just a glimpse of what she's understood, she betrays the meaning, putting it in words. So she smiles at me lovingly and says, just let me hold your hand. So far it's the only way I can let myself be heard. 'Cause she thinks most people don't talk enough about how lucky they are. Most people don't know what it takes for me to get through the day. Most people don't talk enough about the love in their hearts. She doesn't know most people feel that same way. She doesn't know most people feel that same way.
Is Dawes live in the Zoo Lounge? That really is an amazing song. I love the line, the January Christmas lights under a billion-year-old stars.
Thanks.
How did you come up with that? I mean, that's a great line.
I don't know. I guess I wrote the song in January. I remember that. And I think I was just, it was just funny to see how many people don't take their Christmas lights down.
Around here they don't, because they leave them up for Mardi Gras.
Oh, okay.
So they actually have Mardi Gras trees.
Oh, all right.
That was something I had to get used to when I moved here. But that's such a great line. I mean, now, when did you guys start actually, the brothers, when did you guys actually start playing together, singing together? Was it something that you always did, or did it just come naturally?
We've been singing together for as long as I can remember, but we started in this formation. I started playing drums with Taylor and Wiley and Tay when I was 17, like right when I was graduated high school.
Our old drummer, Stuart Johnson from Simon Dawes, was like his teacher and also his biggest fan, and he would always say that when it's right, like Griffin's gonna be playing drums, not me. And that ended up being the case.
Now, they say that Dawes comes from the Laurel Canyon sound. Like, I see that a lot in print. Now, I know what that means, but what does that mean to you? I mean, is it because of the influence of this Crosby, Stills, Nash, Joni Mitchell, and all of that stuff that came out of the 60s out of Laurel Canyon, or is it because you're from Los Angeles? How do you feel about that?
I guess we just look at it as something to hang your hat on, but I don't think we really see it as something that's all encompassing of our band or necessarily particularly accurate. I feel like, if you were to go see us play a song like most people live, I don't really think you would start thinking about, Crosby, Stills, and Nash and that sort of thing. Maybe, but I think our influences go far beyond what was happening in one part of LA in a certain period. And while we're obviously honored to be associated with that, we also feel like, well, it's not really everything we do. I think that, if that's what helps someone wrap their head around the band as a first impression, maybe before they've heard something, then that's fine. But and I guess every band has that, and also I guess every band kind of resists that. I feel like it's few bands want to be summed up with a couple genre terms, and a lot of bands seem to always want to keep it broad and keep it and just let the music speak for itself and say we're a rock and roll band. So I guess we look at something like something like Laurel Canyon Sound as maybe an introductory suggestion to bring someone into the music, rather than something that would be all defining or anything close.
What part of LA are you from? I mean, are you from Laurel Canyon or are you from the Valley?
No, we grew up in the Valley for a while, and then after that, from Glendale we moved to Malibu and went to high school out there, and Wiley's from the Palisades, so I guess all on the west side. Tay's from New York, so
definitely not the Laurel Canyon.
Never not the Laurel Canyon.
yeah.
Now, with recently, I don't know if it was recently or not, but I read that you had played the Occupy Wall Street in Liberty Park along with Jackson Brown. What was that like for you?
That was really an eye-opening, incredible experience. To be honest, politics has never been a part of our music or really a part of our ambitions or anything like that. And we were going to New York for different reasons, and Jackson was going to be there, and we were going to do some stuff with him, and it was very important for him to want to get involved. And so he said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Obviously, it was such a big deal that we didn't want to go into something like that without really educating ourselves and understand what we were, associating ourselves with. And the more research we did, the more proud we were and more excited we were to be part of it. There's always been a lot of criticisms about the Occupy Wall Street movement as to whether or not they really had a clearly defined statement. But we felt that with the global coverage, with President Obama addressing Occupy Wall Street in his speeches at the time, as to how he wanted to address the whole situation, the whole problem. I think whether or not everything got done that every single person that was involved wanted, I think it was still an example, especially to the younger generations, that protest is still, alive and well, more or less. I feel like we've all, especially for us, I mean, I know I've grown up in a world where I felt like, protest is something that with such a globalized and gigantic world that we live in, that's a thing of the past. That's something that doesn't get anyone's attention, and I feel like Occupy Wall Street demonstrated that in a really effective way. So now people can grow up and say, you know what, if I do have a problem, I can throw my hands in the air and I can get people to hear me in a way that I don't think it's been believed possible for a long time.
We're talking with Dawes in the Zoo Lounge and also listening to some of their songs. The first album that you recorded it live to analog. Are you still doing that? And is that basically the format that you do when you're recording?
We did the second one all live analog as well, and then the third one we did mostly to analog. It was our first time with another producer, and he had said, like, I want to do it digitally, that's how I work. And we said, well, we want to do it analog because that's how we work. And it wasn't really on account of sounds because a lot of our favorite records are recorded digitally, and so it wasn't like we can't get a great sounding record recording digitally. It was just we like the environment that cultivated. It forced us to perform in a way that we were, more motivated to really execute. And he said, well, why don't you guys come out of your comfort zones a little bit, and we can work with digital in certain capacities, and I'll come out of my comfort zone a little bit, and we'll work, I guess, mostly analog. So it was definitely a balance, but we still, cut all the tracks and all the most important things analog.
Okay. Well, can we hear another track?
Sure.
What you got for us?
Side effects.
And what's the story behind this one?
This one, Oops, I spilled some water. This
See,
one,
I told you it was live.
This one, it's these chords I had for a long, long time. It was actually a Simon Dawes song that never really saw the light of day, and I always really liked the chords, but I never was able to. It turned into something that we really could do anything with. So, I guess the beginning of this song, in a way, this song is older than any Dawes song there is, even though it's on our third record. But obviously, finished it and wrote all the words and everything. Only in this last year.
Okay. It's Dawes live in the Zoo Lounge.